guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another episode of The Longest Journey. Last episode we were in the Journeyman Inn, and then we met with this creature Abnaxis, and he invited us to his home where we went, and he explained a little bit about the different things of the balance and the different things that have to do with that whole thing, with our quest, basically. In this episode, I know I have to go back to the maps guy. I need to talk to somebody about the myth of the god that fell into the sea. I know I'm gonna have to take a map to the Journeyman Inn, and I need to talk to Tobias about the disc. At the end of this episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also share if you can. That would really help me out. I'm really trying to grow my channel. Any help would be really appreciated. Now let's get to playing The Longest Journey. Just ignore the flashing light. It'll go away eventually. It does that when after I save. I don't know why.
It's a nicely crafted bench.
It's so funny that you can have April sit on all these random seats.
Ruminations on the Chaos Principle by Roar Agastanja.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Where should I go first? Guess I should go to the maps merchant. He's gonna be so mad at me. Or is he? Maybe no time passed. Well, not that much time passed in actual life anyway. I mean, in Stark. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this time he's mad at me. He's mad at me.
It's the maps merchant.
Later on. Talk to him.
Hey, you. What's going on? Why didn't you deliver any maps yesterday?
Okay. So he's mad at me.
I wasn't around. Sorry.
Well, there are more maps to be delivered, and my customers are getting very impatient. Did you deliver the map to the rolling man?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me see his signature, and I'll give you your next delivery.
Oh, that's right. I was gone a whole day.
Here's your next delivery, a map of the Northlands to a Tun Lyak staying at the Journeyman Inn. And be quick about it. She's been waiting since the day before yesterday.
Okay. So there's that. I think I'm gonna go talk to Tobias.
Good morning, Tobias.
Why, it's April, my friend from Stark. Have you come to visit us again?
So it appears. I didn't exactly come here by choice this time, though.
Oh? How so, if I may ask?
In a weird and twisted way, it's nothing out of what's become the substitute for ordinary in my life. One second I was in my room in Newport. The next, I was in a dark alley in Marcuria.
You must have opened a shift while you were sleeping. Good. This means you are learning to harness your magic.
Yeah, I guess, except I don't think I'll be able to get back home again. And this time, my mentor, Cortez, has no idea that I'm here.
Ah, but I'm sure you will find a way to channel and control your power soon. In the meantime, is there anything I can do to help?
I need help getting back home.
Unfortunately, I'm in no better state today to help you shift than I was the day before yesterday. You are the one with the talent, and so you must learn to use that talent.
I need to locate the disc that unlocks the Guardian's tower.
The disc that is the key? Yes, it is needed. It might even restore balance, provided the new Guardian accompanies it to the tower, of course. But you wish to find the disc yourself?
I have to. Cliché or not, it's our only hope.
You do this often, then? You know, save worlds?
It's an expression. Heroism in my world is more of a cliché than anything else.
I do not understand. But then I am merely a servant of the balance, while you are more. But yes, the disc. As I told you once before, when the Earth was divided, and the realm of the Guardian created, a disc was forged in the Well of Making. The disc was to serve two purposes. As a key to the Tower of Balance should it become necessary to enter it in the Guardian's absence, and as a replacement for the disc that is already in the tower should it be broken. The tower is now abandoned and locked, and the old disc shattered. I do think the time is right for the second disc to be brought forward and used.
Where is the disc now?
At first, more than 12,000 years ago, it was kept in the open, at the Sentinel Enclave outside Marcuria. However, when thieves attempted to make away with the disc, it was taken away.
Why?
So that the 4 parts of the disc could be divided amongst 4 of the magical people of Arcadia. People who would have nothing to gain from the balance being compromised.
What people were the disc divided amongst?
This I cannot tell you. I am not sure anyone remembers now. But it would be in the scriptures, I am certain.
What scriptures?
The scriptures of the balance. There are 13 of them. 13 is a strong number, rich in tradition, and... Did you know the Irede High Council consists of 13 ministers? No, of course you don't. 13 was also the number of the fathers who begat the Sentinel, and who built the Tower of Balance.
Where can I find the scriptures of the balance?
Pay a visit to the Sentinel Enclave, located outside the city to the east. The great library of the Enclave contains every book ever written by an Arcadian minstrel, and most others as well. Speak with Minstrom Yerin, the keeper of books. Tell him I sent you.
I need to find the entrance to the Guardian's realm.
There is one. You are right in that, but where, I would not venture to guess. In the past, when the time came for the Guardian to step down and another to take his or her place, the Guardian opened a gateway wherever it was needed. A Guardian, still in full control of the balance, can invite anyone in, and let anyone out. But with the Guardian gone, the only way in would be the point where the divide was first created, where the tower was built.
Isn't that location written down somewhere?
Remember that this was done on the old Earth before the divide. After the divide, after the creation of Stark and Arcadia, places were shifted about. This entrance may not even be on the ground anymore.
What do you mean?
It could be up there, in the sky, or far below us, through the crust of the Earth into the molten depths below. I cannot say, and I do not know anyone who could.
Isn't there any way to locate the entrance to the Guardian's realm?
Perhaps with careful investigation of the old texts, histories of Arcadia, of the Divide, the scriptures. I do not know, April, but it cannot hurt to look. Again, you will find these texts at the Sentinel Enclave. Speak with Minstrom Yerin.
I need to locate the 2 dragons that reside in Arcadia.
The Drykin?
What's the difference?
Dragons is a word from your world. The kin are not what they have become in your legends and fairy tales.
But they're real, aren't they?
Oh, as real as you and me, April. And old. They have been here since before our time. As you probably remember, the kin were instrumental in the Divide, saving mankind from a terrible end. But I know so little. Only what I can remember from my studies when I was a minstrel at the Enclave.
How can I get more information on the Drykin?
Books, daughter, books. The wisdom of the ages. There is one tome you should study, called The Secrets of the Drykin, by Minstrom Elniak. It is old but informative, and it captures the imagination.
Where can I find this book?
Again, you will find these texts at the Sentinel Enclave. Speak with Minstrom Yerin.
Okay.
Thank you, Tobias.
Good to know I could help you, April.
Gotta go to a library. But first, I think I'm gonna think I'm gonna go to the dock first and talk to that old sailor guy because he wanted to tell us stories before of the ocean. So, and then where's the small pier? Small pier.
Hello again, old man.
It be you.
I'd love to hear some more maritime stories.
Sure, sweetie, I be happy to. What story you be wanting to hear now?
Have you heard a story about a god who fell from the sky into the sea?
Aye, that I be having. Although that be a story of man-eating mermen who ravaged the sea of songs, swallowing sailors whole and spitting their bones out to dry. Are you sure you be up for hearing such a cruel tale?
I've heard worse.
Ye be a tough little lady, be you not? All right. Well, like I be telling yous, the Sea of Song surrounding the island kingdom of Gien be a treacherous sea where countless vessels have disappeared without a trace. Now, this be near 30 long winters ago, mind, during me second term as captain of the trader Lucky Lady. We've been crossing the Sea of Songs for 2 seasons, and we'd yet to be seeing any sign of the dreaded bloodthirsty mermen who lurk in the waters off the Guyenne coast. That night we be laying still with our sails down, awaiting the wind to pick up and carry us north to Mercuria, when we be hearing a frightful scream a-coming from the port side of the Lady Luck. I be the first to rush over on account of me having me arm down the apple barrel. We just been to Arras to pick up 100 barrels of sweet Guyenne apples, and as luck would have it, I be there just in time to witness Sally Barney's horrible fate. He be in the water, screaming and waving his arms, and the water around him be red as a midwife's arms after a grueling birth.
I get the picture. Go on.
Then I be seeing, I glimpse a large, shiny, sleek body be pulling Sally down and swallow him whole. It be the mermen come to claim the body of the sailor who dare cross their sea.
Are you sure it wasn't a shark?
What?
Big fish with sharp teeth and dead black eyes and a large triangular fin on top?
Ye mean a black-eyed snapjaw? I guess it could have been, but it be no snapjaw. It be the dreaded merman of the Sea of Songs.
Where does the sea god fit into all of this?
Aye, I be coming to that. You see, the bloodthirsty mermen be not only happy with cannibalizing sailors, but they be sacrificing their own to their dark old sea god.
Actually, unless the mermen are human, they wouldn't really be cannibals if they ate humans.
Blood sacrifices to their dreaded god who lives on the bottom of the sea. Aye, that be the truth of the mermen, fierce and bloodthirsty cannibals of the Sea of Songs.
Thanks. Good story.
Aye.
Okay.
I'm all storied out for now. Thanks.
Aye, ye tell me when you want more, right?
See you later.
If I not be dead, aye.
Diary. Monday. I have no concept of what the Arcadian or Mercurian calendar is like, but at home it would be July 31st. Come to think of it, what year is it here? Anyway, that's not really the reason I'm writing an entry in my diary. Tobias told me about a library where I may be able to find some answers. The library is at the Sentinel Enclave just outside of town, and I'm supposed to speak with a minstrel named Yeren. He's the keeper of books, or something like that, which probably translates into the equivalent of a librarian. What is it with old sailors and long, pointless stories? I did manage to get some useful information out of the old man, however. He claims that the god that fell into the sea, the one Abnaxis told me about, is worshipped by bloodthirsty cannibal mermen who live in the Sea of Songs around the island of Guyenne. I think that's how it's spelled. The fact that they're not necessarily cannibal just because they eat humans didn't really deter him from finishing his story. I'm having my doubts about how bloodthirsty these creatures really are as well. Seems like the monster he described in his story could be some kind of shark instead of a merman. Whatever the truth, if anybody knows about this god who fell from the stars, it would be the merman. Okay, let's go back to the other pier. We haven't talked to him in a while.
Hello.
Did you ever hear? Okay, great.
Did you ever hear of the Merman of the Sea of Songs?
You mean the bloodthirsty cannibal merman of the Sea of Songs?
That's it.
Never heard of him.
Are you sure you've never heard of the Merman of the Sea of Songs?
Be quiet. Shh. Not so loud.
What's up with the shushing?
Legend says that if you speak openly of the bloodthirsty cannibal merman of the Sea of Songs, they will hunt you down until they've caught you and devoured you.
And you believe this legend?
No, I'm just trying to scare you off.
Do you know anything about a god that fell from the sky into the sea?
Of course. You find fallen gods most everywhere these days. They're an air and a hand.
Really?
No, of course not. There are no fallen gods in the sea. It wouldn't make much sense, would it? If the sea was full of gods just lying about the seabed.
So you've never heard of such a thing happening?
Now you got it.
Bye.
Okay, that wasn't much help. Alright, let's go to the inn, maybe. Whoa, I have lots of coin. Now I can play that game. Cups. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Stop yawning.
Excuse me?
Yes? Oh, it is you.
I'm looking for a guest of yours, Tun Lyak.
The sailor? She is looking for work today, I'm afraid. With most of the ships moored to the docks for balance knows how long, it is difficult for sailors to find work.
Do you know when Tun Lyak is expected back?
I could not tell you, child, but from what I know of the ships in harbor, she will not find one that needs a navigator anytime soon.
I guess we have to go to the library first.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, child.
Let's go study.
It's a circular hollow about 20 centimeters across and about 5 centimeters deep. The dragon's mouth is pointing straight down at the middle of the floor.
So pretty.
It's emerald green, teeming with life and carrying the pleasant, salty scent of distant shores.
It's gorgeous down here. But I don't want to go all the way down there.
It's one of the Sentinel Minstrel.
I'll just get on with it.
Oh, goodness me, I didn't hear you come in. By the way, you haven't seen Volume 6 of the Complete Annotated History of the Northlands, have you? I could have sworn it was here yesterday.
Sorry, no.
I guess someone else must have taken it. I try to tell them to write down what they borrow on the list, but they never listen. Only last week I spent 3 hours searching the entire enclave for the second scripture of the ballads, the scripture of song, before I realized that Vestrum Tobias was studying it back in the city. Now, such incidents could be avoided if only, and this applies to you too, young lady, people would sign out the books they borrow when they borrow them and sign them back in when they're done. Such a simple procedure. It shouldn't take more than a few seconds to jot down your name and the name of the book you borrow. It makes my job so much easier. Now, which book did you want me to find for you?
Are you Minster Yaren?
Yes, of course. What a silly question.
How would I know? I don't know you.
I am Minstrom Yeren, keeper of the Great Library of Marcuria. In fact, this is the greatest library of all the Northlands. Perhaps of the entire world. Although they say the Dark People have a library as big, if not bigger, than this one. But of course, we're not allowed anywhere near there. Have you been there?
I don't think...
What a silly question. Of course you haven't. You're not of the Dark People, are you? You don't look like any Dark People I've ever seen, so I can't see how you could possibly... Now, where did Volume 6 disappear to?
Tobias said I should talk with you.
Tobias? Vestrum Tobias? I haven't seen him for... Well, he was in last week, but before that it must have been days at least. How is he? Still eating enough for 2 mules? I must tell you of this funny story I heard the other day, of how Vestrum Tobias eats enough for a table full of minstrum, or was it 1 Elguan? Although the Elguan don't, as a rule, eat very much at all. Did you know that the Elguan can smell water more than half a day's journey away? Amazing, amazing creatures, perfectly suited for life in the desert. The balance provides, that's for certain. The balance provides.
Vestrum Tobias recommended that I look at some books.
Books is what we do best here at the Enclave, that is for certain. Which book would you like to see?
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask for.
No matter. I know a great deal about most of the books in here. What topic intrigues you?
Let's see. Okay, I'll just go down the list again.
I've heard rumors about mermen who live beneath the Sea of Songs, and I'd like to find out more about them.
Mermen in the Sea of Songs. Let me see what I can find, yes?
Okay. I feel like this is going to be a lot of me reading out loud. I need more coffee before I do this.
I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Let's read. Alright. Merum, also mermen, merpeople, Murians, a magical people who reside in the depths of the great ocean and other seas. Little contact has been made with the Merum, who are believed to have been quite numerous in the past, but are now dwindling in numbers. Confirmed location of Merum cities is between the Briston Atoll and Gien, centering on the Sea of Songs. Legends of mermen, merpeople, Murians, are rampant amongst sailors. These stories portray the Merum in a grotesque and violent light, betraying the truth of a largely peaceful people. Violent light, okay, I already read that sentence. Although not much is known about the Merum, their religion apparently centers around the belief of a benevolent God who lives in the immense depths of the great ocean, and who brought the Merum to Earth from a place distant and wonderful. Okay.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you.
Next book.
Oh, goodness, it's you again. You gave me such a fright.
He's so cute.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly. What a silly question.
I'm looking for some information, but I'm not sure which book to ask for.
No matter.
I need to find out which 4 magical people of Arcadia were given a piece of the stone disc that serves as the key to the Guardian's realm.
The stone disc of the balance, yes? Yes. There could possibly be something on that in... let me check. Just one moment. I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Chapter 16 in the 8th scripture, the scripture of breaking, regarding the disc of the balance and the events that came about when the disc was broken. The scriptures tell us that the disc was kept at the Enclave for many thousands of years, safely guarded from any threat by the respect held by every man and woman for the authority of the fathers. But with dissent came disobedience, and disobedience brought immorality, and immorality begat theft, Tyrant soldiers aided by sentinel traders attempted to make away with the disc, but were thwarted by the Wight of the Kin herself, intervening, although forbidden to do so, on behalf of the Fathers. The disc was brought safely back to the Enclave, but the threat would linger in the minds of the Minstrum and the Vestrum. So it became that the disc was melted in the forge of the dragon's mouth, shaped into the elements of 4 magical people, and given to these respective people for safe keeping, until such a time when it was decreed that the disc should once more be whole. 1 stone to the gentle souls that sing in the dark, and shape the earth between their toes. 1 stone to the watchers of the woods, the ones who are outside. 1 stone to the 2 that make one, of air and of sea. And 1 stone to the keepers of the dark flame, the eternal dark, the mariners. When the time comes for the disc to be whole again, 1 person will make a journey to the 4 who hold the pieces, and the pieces will be given willingly, because there will be no doubt to the righteousness of this person.
Are you done? Let me take that back for you. Oh, goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some more books?
Oh, certainly.
I'm looking for some
No, Matt.
I'd like to learn more about dragons, about the Dragkin.
Oh, yes. We have some wonderful books on that topic. Stay here. I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here for you to read.
Secrets of the Dragkin by Minstrum Eliek. Forward. The Dragkin are known by many names throughout the Twin Worlds. In Altung, they are often referred to as Drakkin. In some variations of Low Tongue, Drekkin. In the Southlands, the word Dragyik refers specifically to the winged lizard shape traditionally associated with the kin. In Irid, the eternal spirits of the kin are called simply Drak, regardless of their current shape. In Stark, most cultures refer to the kin as dragon, drage, drak, dragon, though this usually refers only to the winged lizard-like shape, and not to the spirit inhabiting this shape. In fact, while in Arcady, the kin are respected and revered as eternal spirits and great significance in the balance and the all, in Stark, the kin are mostly creatures of mythology and fairy tales. However, in some Stark legends and scriptures, notably the Christian Bible, the name dragon is associated with the forces of evil, and thus the religious connotations do seem to have carried over in a somewhat distorted form. Who or what are the Drakkin? Why not ask, who is the creator? Or what is the all? Questions thus asked will remain in perpetuity unanswered, for they're in truth unanswerable. To condense all knowledge of the creator into one answer is futile, as is any attempt to define the all without describing every single element that makes up the all. So also with the Drakkin, we cannot answer who is the kin or what is the kin, but we can provide some answers to the simpler questions, the questions that deal with what we see and hear and feel, and what we have been told by the kin themselves. Answers that, together, may give us, if only the faintest hint of the whole truth, then at least some indication of who or what the Drakkin are. Born of the emptiness between the stars, reads the 11th scripture of the balance, the scripture of time, shaped in unison with the all, part of the all, yet outside the all. Drakkin, note the ancient high tongue variation of Drakkin. Why so many variations and interpretations of the Drakkin from culture to culture? The kin have always been shrouded in mystery, and from mystery rises legend and myth. The kin seem content to be seen as nothing but tall tales and figments of a bard's fertile imagination.
Are you done? Let me take that back. Goodness, it's you again. Oh, you gave me such a fright.
Could I see some more books? I'm looking for a story called The Silver Spear of Goriman.
Yes, a fanciful tale if I ever saw one, but a charming one. Did you know that I'm often paid visit by adventurers wishing to read everything available on the spear so that they too can set out on their foolish quests?
Yeah, don't you just hate those adventurers?
Well, they pay for my bread, milk, and butter with their contributions to the coffers, so I shouldn't be too critical of them. But they care not about the books. They care only about what the books can give them.
I care. About the books, really.
I can tell. So, the Silver Spear of Gorimon, then? I did find something of interest.
Let's do this. The Silver Spear of Gorimon. In the glory days of Bakshiva, before the drought, when Gorimon was the greatest city in the known world, the Perik of Bakshiva decided to forge the most powerful weapon in the world to challenge the mighty white dragon. The Perik had grown greedy and bored, his treasure hold filled with the riches of the world, and he desired nothing except the one thing he could never have, the unborn daughter of the white dragon, the fairest, purest, most beautiful creature in the universe. He had asked the white dragon for her daughter's hand in marriage, but she had refused, scolding him for his insolence and warning him to keep his distance from immortals. And so the Perik sought the advice of a mighty sorcerer, the dark and cruel Eos, to learn how to kill one of the dragkin. The sorcerer told the Perik of the white silver of Mount Tyranny, the strongest substance in Arcadia, and how it could be forged by magic to kill even one of the kin. The Perik ordered his army to go north across the ocean and to bring back enough white silver to shape a weapon. When his men returned with the rare metal, the Perik ordered the finest blacksmith in Bakshiva to his castle, where Eos the sorcerer cast a spell to create an unholy forge. 10 days and 10 nights it took before the exhausted blacksmith could present a tall spear to his emperor. But before the spear could be used to kill one of the kin, it had to be bathed in blood, beheading the poor blacksmith and the soldiers who had retrieved the white silver from Mount Tyranny. The Perik's private bath was filled with their blood. As he dropped the silver spear into the red bath, watched over by Eos, a terrible scream erupted, and the steam rose up in a red, foul-smelling cloud. When the steam lifted, the blood was all gone, and the spear was glowing in a deep red color. With the terrible weapon now ready to be welded, the Perik issued a challenge to the white dragon, to either surrender her daughter to him for marriage, or to suffer a painful death at his hand. Enraged, the white dragon refused him yet again, and flew to meet the Perik, his sorcerer, and his 1,000-strong army on the green fields outside Gorimon. Of the magical silver spear she knew nothing, and the Perik kept it wrapped in cloth by his side. "Bring your forces around Perik," warned the white dragon. "If you do not, I will lay waste to them all." "I wish my men no harm," lied the Perik, "for this is between the two of us." He then rode forward, alone, and dismounted his horse, but stayed within reach of the spear. The white dragon landed before him, and she said, "You are brave to face me like this when you know it cannot harm me." Then the Perik raised a hand as if to greet her, but it was instead a sign to his sorcerer, the terrible Eos, who cast a mighty spell to hold the white dragon, while the Perik drew his silver spear. The white dragon fought bravely, and she was close to escaping the sorcerer's magic. But the Perik was quick, and he thrust the magic spear into her chest. She screamed in pain and anger, and the sorcerer's spell could no longer hold her. Rising on her beautiful wings, blood pouring down on the land below, she cursed Bakshiva, her Perik, and her people for all time. Wherever the white dragon's blood fell, the land turned arid, and grass became sand. The Perik sent his army to follow the white dragon and to bring back her egg, but the drought grew, and within days the once proud empire of Bakshiva was turning into a desert. Then followed a fierce storm that tore across the land for 100 days and nights, and when the dust settled, there was nothing left of Bakshiva but 2 coastal cities and a few scattered oases. It is said that in the buried ruins of a lost capital, wrapped in the arms of the Perik, who dared test the immortal, rests the silver spear of Gorimon.
Are you done? Let me take that back for
Whew.
you.
Could I see some more?
Oh, certainly.
A book on the history of Mercuria would be interesting.
Ah, an extensive subject to be sure. I will do my best. I did find something of interest. I'll leave it here.
Okay, Travelers in the Northlands by Jerem the Discoverer. The first part. In my many years as a traveling poet and bard, I have journeyed far and wide across the fair realm of Arcady, and I have seen sights most people have not dreamed. I have stood in the magnificent and terrible southern capes in the midst of winter, when storms are at their fiercest, while waves as tall as the towers of Altaban washed over my frozen body. I have witnessed the monstrous beasts that lurk in those dark and deadly waters of the south swallow brave galleons whole, creatures the size of mountains, that with a flick of a tail can touch the depths of the sea and the stars themselves. I have crossed the great ocean from north to south and from east to west, and in the course been stranded on desert islands, with no sustenance but what I could gather from the sparse vegetation for months at a time. I have ridden the giant Elguan across Changagriel, the waste land from Altaban to Monterba, and further south, where the Terek, the oases are few and far between, and I have seen the shifting dunes above the ruins of Gorimon, precious jewel of the Bakshivan Empire, concealed for centuries by the coarse and treacherous sand. And I have journeyed far west, carried on goodwill and destiny by shadow ships to the strange and unknown cliffs of a world unseen by most, a world of unfamiliar tongue and customs, a world of great wonder and mysticism. I have seen all this and more, but the fairest sights still I have seen in the lands of the north, from Iread to the border mountains, from Tyrene to the Bay of Fire. No sight can ever compare to dawn at Mount Tyranny, looking out to the plains of Nedra, where wild stallions run free in the thousands, and to look on the city of Coruscant, the pearl of fire, while the boiling sun sets in the ocean beyond, the slow waves reflecting dark yellow and red as they lap slowly upon the sandy shores, is an experience truly treasured and ne'er forgotten. These lands are blessed by the Creator and shaped by men, yet wild and free and fertile, home to the greatest cities, the most precious sights, and the most cultured and civilized people in Arcady. Of all the fires I have rested my weary legs by, of all the taverns where I have learned the legends of tale spinners and memorized the songs of bards, of all the lands where I have wandered from city to village, it is to the Northlands I return time and time again to learn ever more. Join me now, for I will evoke in you the very emotions I first experienced when visiting the sights and treasures of the northern lands. Join me, and I will surely bring you there, to the exotic mists of this blessed land, and you will pine for its rugged coast and green woods, and its hardy people, and like me, you will ne'er rest until you can return to yonder shores. Marcuria, O Marcuria, thou unkempt diamond, of capitals thou art by truth the fairest. Thy counsel many seek for knowledge, kept within its centuries sought and gathered, by men wiser than the ages, brought hither by word of mouth. Marcuria, changed thou not the course of war between thine people? Diplomat, wise man, magician, all this and more, thou hast without equal the mark of merit and virtue. Written by Gemin Earthrin the poet. The august capital of Iread, the unified country, Marcuria lies on the hardy southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tyrene and Coruscant. It is a port of call for merchants, traders, adventurers, and pilgrims from all four continents, a place of commerce and diplomacy for millions of humans and other species. Iread is a strong and proud land, perched between the plains of Nedra to the north, the land of the Tyrant to the west, the great sea to the south, and the forests of the Northlands to the east, and inhabited by humans, Dalmari, Tyrant, Mole People, and Venner. Iread was formed after Marcuria emerged as a major center for diplomacy and trade, and became the banner under which the surrounding lands united as one. Ireed is a democracy, currently led by the Chief Council of the Ireed flag, Lord Van-Delen. The High Council, composed of the ministers who govern by representation, resides in the Markurian Hall of Assembly, flanked by the palace and the barrack. The Iredes are traditionalists, and their form of government has barely changed over the last few millennia. In High Tongue, Ireed means unification or assembly. Marcuria is one of the largest cities of Arcadia, the capital of Ireed, and a center for trade, diplomacy, and cultural diversity. Populated by a large variety of races, from human to Veneer, Marcuria has grown from its origins as the birthplace of humanity to a city of all Arcadians and the hub of the civilized world. Founded 20,000 years ago at the shore of the then unconquerable ocean, it is the first known permanent settlement of the emerging human race. Initially left to its own devices by more developed races, Marcuria grew large and fat and wealthy. With newfound confidence, it passed through a period of expansion, which gained it a reputation as a merciless aggressor, which soon brought violent attention from the Tyrant in the west and the Dalmari in the north. After years of war, Marcuria was decimated and subsequently rebuilt with sufficient reinforcements to weather attacks from both sea and land. Peaceful times followed, whereupon Marcuria settled into the role it has in today's Arcadia. Although all surrounding areas fall under its jurisdiction, there is sufficient self-governing and few central taxes to appease all but the most disgruntled. The huge areas of farmland around the city benefit from the well-kept roads, markets, and the busy export to other lands. Nearby villages benefit from the military might of Marcuria, protecting them against roving barbarians and tyrant armies. And Marcuria also provides the people of the Northlands with one of the best and busiest ports in Arcadia, allowing travel to distant destinations around the world. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna need to wrap up this episode. It's way too long. And with that, I'm gonna have to wrap up this episode. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also share if you can. That would really help me out. I really want to grow my channel. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and also join me in Discord. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I have lots of other content on there that you might enjoy. I hope to see you guys next time, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!